So when you build this network, you build long-term relationships and trust.
Just taking my eyes off myself and putting them out to other people and being vulnerable and authentic.
The goal is to help others and be a beacon of light, but monetization follows, right?
I've had the best 3 or 4 years of my life financially.
Hey, this is Mike from Introstars. I'm very excited to bring you a brand new episode of the Super Connectors podcast in New York. And today we've got a very special treat. I brought you a VIP guest, not a super connector, but a master connector, Steve Spiro himself. Hey, Steve, good to have you on the show.
What's going on, Mike? Great to be here with you.
So lots of people use the term super connector,
Yeah.
but you call yourself a master connector, one level above that. So how do you define it? What does that really mean to be a super connector or master connector in your case?
Well, number one, I wanted to be a master connector versus a master networker because in today's world, people look at networking as kind of like prostitution. It's kind of like solicitation. So connecting is better, and I'm all about human connection. First of all, that's where master connector portion comes from. But also I have a double black belt, martial arts, and so there's a kind of a pun there, master connector, and master, in the fourth degree, I have a fourth degree black belt in karate.
Oh, wow.
And that's the master level. So
Don't mess with Steve.
mess with me. Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, and to me, again, the connection, it's not just about amassing a large network, but it's about real human connection. And so I wanted to make sure that piece of it. But the truth is, here's the funny part, right? I've got so many things that I've been involved in, and it's hard to put me in a box.
Yeah.
And so when people would ask me what they do, and I tell them, it's like they're on the bowl with constipation. It's like, I don't get it. I'm like, just call me the master connector, and that name stuck. So I guess self-proclaimed, if you will. I don't have any kind of official certificate that I'm a master connector, but that's the deal.
And so in your day-to-day job, what kind of introductions do you make? You're obviously the master connector. You make lots of introductions for business deals or others. Like,
Sure.
What are the typical introductions you like to make on a daily basis?
Part of the reason why I wanted to be called the master connector is because I've got my hands in so many things. And obviously one of the things that I'm really focused on today is on speaking. And my goal is to be paid to travel the world, speak and inspire and be a beacon of light. And so the connections I love to make, whenever I get on calls, and I've got several friends here today, and whenever I get on calls, I always like to, use my network and say, hey, listen, look through my connections on LinkedIn and put a list of 6 names together, and I'll make some introductions. Of course, if there's somebody specific that comes to mind, but many times, like I was talking to somebody on the ride down here today, and one of my goals is to be on a TEDx stage, and they're like, oh, I'm going to introduce you to some TEDx speakers. And I appreciate that, but that's not going to help me. I need to speak to TEDx organizers. So I like when somebody tells me who they want to be introduced to, so I could really connect them with the right people. Because now it's something and you can go on LinkedIn. It's very easy. You go on and filter and basically come up with exactly who you want to be connected to based on the parameters you're looking for, instead of me kind of guessing.
Yeah. No, I love that approach where you ask people to tell you exactly who they want to meet and then you make it happen.
Because I've had a lot of people who say, look through my connections, and nobody ever does. But I say 6 because I really want them to put a list of 6 together.
Yeah, that's great. And now you say you want to inspire people. Do you want to inspire them to be connectors themselves? Is that kind of the message you're sharing, or other messages you want to inspire?
I mean, I think anyone can be a master connector, quite frankly. But the part about inspiration, I was in a very dark place, very broken and wounded for a very long time. And because of the power of mentorship, networking, and self-development, by the grace of God, I was able to get out on the other side of that. And so my goal today is to be a beacon of light and to uplift, inspire, and encourage. And I want people to believe that they have the seed of greatness within them and they can accomplish anything they want. And there's been a lot of grit in my life, a lot of challenges, learning disabled, dyslexic, bullied as a kid. And so I've overcome a lot of obstacles, and I really want to inspire people to know that if they put their mind to something, they do the work and stay steady and have a coach or mentor or somebody that could really guide them, they can accomplish anything in their life.
And especially, everyone can be a super connector, master connector, as you said, because you don't need any special skills. Just have to know people, and everyone knows people. Yeah, which is great.
Except for me.
Yeah.
Early on, I didn't know anyone. I was like, literally, I grew up and literally had one friend, and he moved away. And then my best friend was Captain Kirk from Star Trek, and Ralph Cramden from The Honeymooners, and Felix Unger from The Odd Couple. That was it. I locked myself in my room. So I had to build a network.
So when you build this network, you build long-term relationships and trust, and people know you and you know them. So it's all about helping each other. And as you said, be a beacon of light and being inspirational. On the other hand, you need to monetize. You need to pay your bills. You need to create value and money for people as well around you. So how do you walk that fine line between building trust, relationships, and long-term relationships? How do you walk that fine line?
So I'm going to be a little controversial here.
Okay.
And I don't look to physically monetize, but since I've been others focused, and that to me is the key, be others focused. And basically, you know, when I do that, I've had the best 3 or 4 years of my life financially by just taking my eyes off myself and putting it onto other people and being vulnerable and authentic and sharing those things. And that's really has really elevated me financially. It's not through monetizing, because I feel like in my case, if I look to monetize, now there's an agenda. And I try to go into those conversations, the connections with no agenda whatsoever.
Yeah, so you're doing there with the goal of monetizing. The goal is to help others and be a beacon of light, but monetization follows, right? It just happens.
It happens
So
automatic.
it's a consequence of it, not the goal of it.
Correct.
Absolutely. Now, when you look at a new generation of tools like introstars, we can track every introduction you make and receive, and over time, if a deal comes out of it, the introducer gets rewarded as fair compensation. How do you think that changes the whole dynamic of introductions for yourself or for other people out there who might want to become super connectors or master connectors?
Listen, I've learned in success, if you don't track, you don't succeed, right? You have to track. So I think I love the fact that in your platform, you're tracking things. I love the fact that there is some kind of monetization reward on the back end. That sounds great. But yeah, I think ultimately, as long as you have a process, you know, that's a big challenge is people often do things randomly and they wonder why they're not successful.
Yeah.
If you have a process, a system, and you could apply that. I have a system. That system works, and it works because you work it.
And so what's the message you would share with the next generation, young people who are out there, who are on their phone all day? You know, how would you inspire them to get out of their shell, go to networking events, start connecting people? What advice would you have for them?
One of the big things I love speaking about on stages is breaking barriers to create real human connection in this digital era, because it really is we're a very connected world, but we're very disconnected. The screen has created a barrier. So I speak on how to break those barriers through being authentic, being others focused, having grit, and building community and growing connections. And you got to get beyond the screen. You got to take the conversation away from the platform. You know, as soon as somebody says, hey, I'd like to jump on a call, I'm literally, what I'm doing is I'm like, okay, let's pick the time and then give me your cell number. And I'm taking it off the platform because I can't rely on the platform. And so I recommend if you're young, if you're listening to this, to get out there and, you know, get outside your comfort zone, push yourself. I learned that there's danger in the comfort zone. Make sure that you're doing that and meet strangers. I was challenged years ago to meet 3 strangers every day. And, you know, from New York, you talk to strangers, you're going to get shot, kidnapped, or killed. But I did it and still do it to this day. So I'm going to recommend do it. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But so is working out. So is everything that you've ever done to be successful. So do what's uncomfortable. Because if you do what nobody is willing to do, you'll live like nobody else is willing to live.
Amazing words of wisdom. Thank you so much. Where can people follow you? What are you working on right now where people can follow you and follow your adventures?
Absolutely. So one of the easiest way is on LinkedIn. You type in Steve Spiro and connector. I'm the very first that shows up, I believe, all the time. Or go to stevespiro.com. My speaker website is master-connector.com. And I also have a LinkedIn live show, which is called the Master Connector Show. So you can just go to masterconnector.show. But definitely just start with, you know, LinkedIn or stevespiro.com, and it'll take you to all those other platforms. I'm just looking to get on stages. So if you know of anybody that's looking to, you know, connect with somebody who is a true master connector, I'd love to be a blessing to that community or that organization.
I mean, they would be blessed to have you as a speaker. So I can't wait to watch more of your show. And thank you so much for your words of wisdom today. I really enjoyed our conversation, Steve.
Be great.
And I can't wait to see more of you.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.